Hello and welcome to our next episode of Unmissed Connections. I'm really excited because we've got Lauren, our CMO here, back in the office, back in the hot seat in the new studio area, which is, I mean, you haven't been here before, right? This is pretty...
Not to the new studio. Thanks for having me.
No, this is fantastic. And so what we're asking, we're going to be asking Brandy as well, but what we want to ask for you is, when we look at 2018 is over, we're in 2019, what do you feel is the way that, what trend should marketing be looking into or following in 2019 that you think is really going to help your marketing teams, like just their efforts to help exemplify those efforts that they're making?
Yeah. So I think for me, one of the trends that I'm most personally excited about is personalization. And
Sure.
You may think to yourself, like, Lauren, personalization is not really a new trend.
It's been big for the past 2 years, right? You know,
The past couple of years. I think for me, what's really exciting about personalization right now is specifically for B2B companies, like Time Trade, is that personalization has been a challenge for many companies because the whole idea of personalization is you're treating someone like one-on-one, right? And to do something like that at scale for, especially growing companies is really, really challenging, right?
Sure, yeah.
Limited resources. You can't do a custom campaign for every single person. But I think, the technology coming out this year through a variety of different channels is really allowing B2B marketers and B2B salespeople to actually personalize the way that they engage with their customers actually at scale. So one thing that's, I think, really becoming hot is intent data. So intent data is data that's taken off the internet to basically, before a prospect necessarily raises their hand to engage with you, taking signals from their internet footprint, their digital footprint and engagement across a variety of channels that help identify who is becoming a sales-ready buyer, and using that data to actually prescribe how you target them and where they are in that particular journey.
So would this be more than, we have lead scoring, based on action somebody's taken for a score, they trip a threshold, they reach out. Is this more than lead scoring, or is it just a version of that, I guess, on steroids?
It's sort of a version of that on steroids. So the difference is, in a traditional lead scoring model, you're collecting data that is from people engaging with your company. So for example, if you have Marketo, you put the Marketo cookies on your website and you're able to collect engagement on your website, who's clicking email links and the Marketo emails you're sending out. What's different about intent data is it doesn't rely on them engaging with you specifically. So companies like Bambora, for example, are collecting data across their web presence and predicting based on what people are searching for or other things that they're engaging with, who may be interested in, appointment technology, maybe not necessarily Time Trade specifically.
That's nuts. So the history, the actions they may have taken going to competitors or indirect competitors can actually influence what you might consider as intent data that would warm them up, that you would then be able to use that information to properly identify who is interested in a product solution you might offer.
Yeah, they collect the data for a variety of different ways, but it basically allows you to target people before they even know who you are, perhaps.
That's creepy. I don't know if I like that. I mean, it's great. It's great from a B2B perspective, but not that it's an invasion of privacy, but it's definitely a great way to build your own databases without requiring people to come in and interact with all of your own content, which is great. It's a great way to get more exposure, but it is kind of scary when you say it.
It's a little creepy, but I mean, I think there's I look at it as a consumer. It's positives and negatives, right? Do I want someone marketing to me something that I have absolutely no interest in, or do I want someone marketing something to me that maybe I'm searching for, a new pair of shoes? I just don't know that this particular vendor has what I need.
I could see that really having a huge impact when it comes to the different marketing campaigns that you're trying to run, and at least identifying those warm prospects or leads and trying to get them forward in the sales cycle.
Yeah, so something in addition to that, right? So in addition to intent data, layering on other information about particular accounts, one of the things that we're doing this year is implementing account scoring. We've had an ABM strategy over the last year plus now. We've identified that the better we do in picking those accounts and prioritizing accounts is really going to be a key contributor to our success. So the more that we can use data in a smart way to help us choose which companies that we want to target, it's pretty exciting stuff.
So, I mean, intent data, it's something that we're looking forward to in 2019. Now, again, one of the largest things that people have been talking about in 2018, it's falling into 2019, is artificial intelligence. I mean, how do you feel using this intent data and pairing that with artificial intelligence will help marketing and even sales, identify those prospects and move forward, or at least move people forward into those buying cycles?
Yeah, I mean, AI is here. There's definitely no turning back from that, and it's going to continue to be an increasingly important thing for marketers and salespeople to watch. AI is far from where it's actually going to be replacing people, right? So you see a lot of buzz on that about online
if
now.
That even happens.
But when the data comes back to what buyers actually want, it's that buyers want to engage with real people and have those personal connections. So to me, where AI is going to be most valuable is equipping sales and marketing to make smarter decisions. But when it actually comes down to actually doing a lot of the selling activities, it's going to be more in support of rather than replacement.
How many times you hear the joke where somebody's going through the phone tree and they keep on yelling, "Talk to a representative," and it just drives them nuts. It's working with machines. Machines can only do so much, especially now. Granted, that will be changing, but nothing is more frustrating than trying to get a hold of a person when you can't. Now we're looking at what's going on with 2019. Now, Lauren, what do you think is something that is just one of the most overhyped things that everyone's talking about? Everyone thinks it's the next game changer, but it's really just not going to have the legs people think it's going to have.
I think one thing that's getting a lot of attention right now, and maybe a little bit more than it deserves, is chat. I think chat, and now don't get me wrong, we have chat on our website. I think chat is an important channel and one of many channels in terms of the way that customers want to engage, but it's certainly not going to replace a lot of other channels and the human connections that do need to be created, especially in a B2B environment. I think marketers definitely need to think about the types of questions and inquiries and engagements that they have with their customers during the customer life cycle, and make sure that they have accessibility to the channels and the ways that customers want to engage. If you have simple questions, chat is absolutely a great alternative to give people immediate answers, but when it comes down to solving more sophisticated questions, often tied to a B2B sales cycle, you're going to have to pair them up with people to answer those questions.
Yeah, I get that. You need someone knowledgeable that can move them forward. You can't just hope that either an automated bot or even an entry-level person is be able to answer all of those complicated questions someone's coming in and asking in these chatbots.
Yeah, and when you're having to type everything up, is that really the best channel to be able to effectively portray what you're trying to convey? My question's a little complex. How do I say this in the right way?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes there's an element that's missed through that. So chat is important, but I think it's getting a little more attention than it deserves these days.
That I definitely get. And everyone, thank you so much for watching us on our latest episode here. We're going to be asking Randy the same questions here as well, which I'm sure you can click on the link here. I'll have it somewhere on the same process from the sales side. Lauren, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
We'll catch you guys in the next episode.